Hi, parents and guardians. Hope you're doing well. This is another tip that I super recommend for all my tournament players. This is something we do in tournament prep, but I feel a lot of us are not doing it at home. And like I said in the last video, the key to success in tournaments and competition is to do the little things, do the hard work, the details. And it's something very simple that's basically just keeping a running scoring average. And I know some of you parents do it. Some of you parents are Excel wizards. You get that running scoring average. And I think it's phenomenal because the truth is scores do matter in golf. Although I don't want anyone fixating on scores, although it's not the most important thing, we do care. And of course you want to see the number go down. And it's huge for motivation. It's important to make sure we know things are working. But unfortunately, like a score is not a good indicator of anything because the golf course can be easier. You can have a bad day, you can have a good day, you can get lucky, you can get unlucky. And so you never want to look at a singular score. And most kids benchmark on their best score. So they'll play a course like Eagle Creek that's super easy and they'll shoot 72 and they're like, oh, I played at Rio Pinar and I shot 80. I played terrible. An 80 at Rio Pinar is probably pretty close to a 72 at Eagle Creek if we factor in course difficulty, right? Or conditions. If it's super windy that day, like you're going to shoot 5 or 6 shots more on average. That's totally normal. And so I really recommend keep track of all your tournaments, average the score, right? Every season maybe. And I have a dad in particular, I think you know who you are, that does this every season. I think it's the best way to compare scores. So you take the 5 or 6 tournaments from that season, make an average, and you say, hey, my average last season was 78, now it's 77. That's a huge improvement, right? My average last season was 45, now it's 42. And so you can see real progression, and the kids can benchmark around their average. So that if they are trying to beat a score, which again, they shouldn't obsess over, but they're always going to have a goal, it should be their average score because that takes into account all the factors, and it's going to give them a much more accurate representation of if they're playing better or worse, right? I have kids that'll shoot like, when they were little, they shot 35 because they were playing way shorter, and now they're playing way longer, and they're like, I never shot as good as I did when you were 7. Yeah, because when you were 7, you drove all the greens, and that's not real golf. That's not realistic, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not applicable to playing 18 holes from the red tees. And so keeping an average is huge. Just do it on Excel, do it on a Google Doc, do it on your notebook. We do it with the kids, and we average it out once a month and kind of show them like where they're at. But it's great to have something at home where they're constantly reminded that, hey, we're all kind of behind this average of long-term improvement and not hyper-fixated on one tournament that doesn't really tell us anything.